Hi, folks. So I just sent you back your scores for the modes identification quiz based on the Zora Hurston essay, and I wanted to give y'all some answers in case you wanted to double check your answers or curious why you got the grade that you did. Okay, so the first one, what mode does Hurston primarily use in paragraphs 2 and 3? Division, classification, narrative, yada, yada, yada. You guys can read these. And you did read these. So when I look over here, things I'm going to look for is there something she's comparing, contrasting that's governing? Oh, that's not what I want to do. Is there something she's comparing and contrasting that's governing her overall piece? Is there one thing she's comparing and contrasting with different examples? And we look at it, and there's not a single thing, like there's not one thing that she's comparing and contrasting that is at the heart of these paragraphs. What is the heart, though, is her telling a story of growing up in the town of Eatonville, Florida, and entirely one of the first entirely independent black communities in the U.S. So all of these things, like she does give us some compare and contrast with the Southerners versus the Northern tourists, and she gives us a compare and contrast herself with the other people in town. But all of this ends up being more of a story that she's telling us. Okay, paragraph 6 uses which technique of definition essay, but I am not tragically colored. This word not should jump out at us, and so it's contradistinction because she's saying what she is not. When Hurston begins, I am with paragraphs that I am colored, I'm not tragically colored, I have no race, I am me, I feel like a brown paper bag, she applies which mode? A lot of people pick definition for this. The reason it would not be a definition is we'd have to ask, what is she defining? So she could be defining what it means to be a person of color, but that's not what's at the center of this. What's at the center is what she is. All of these different aspects and expressions and parts of her identity. So since she's taking her identity, the I, and she's breaking that down into different divisions, the correct answer would be division and classification. And then getting to our next one. Hurston's description of her transformation in paragraph 11 most closely resembles which mode? So we get down to paragraph 11, and we're in here. So if we look at what she does, she talks about walking into the room, then what the jazz does, then how she goes through a process of getting deeper and deeper and deeper and more engrossed in the music. So first it opens her heart, then it attacks the tonal veil of primitive fury, then she follows, then she starts shaking her asagi, then she's in the jungle, and then she wants to slaughter something. And then the music ends. So it's not really a story. There's not necessarily a climax to it. There's not necessarily a clear moral to it. There aren't characters. There aren't the parts of a narrative, though that would be the tempting answer. But it does give us a process of how the music ends up creating this transformation. And it goes step by step sequentially through that process. So that is why the correct answer is for process, is process analysis. For this last one, I was looking for a quotation. A lot of people picked, let's see. A lot of people picked this quotation up here, which works. The front porch might seem a daring place for the rest of the town, but was a gallery seat for me. So how is this parallel? We have the front porch. We have it is the same thing. We have a daring place. We have a gallery seat. So again, making the same comparison for the rest of the town for me. So it keeps pretty much the exact same structure. Subject, like it's a gentle verb, the experience, and then who's experiencing it. And it has that same construction of the next sentence relating to what Hurston does and Hurston thinks. So those are the answers for that quiz. If you have any questions, send me an email and I can clarify anything you might want to have clarified. Okay, I hope you guys have a great weekend.